आप बोले ना मुझे।
पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खा रही थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान आया, उसने उसको गोली मार दी
यहाँ पे।
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी।
Viewers, the image of Himanshi Narwal, tears streaming down her face while she bid farewell to her husband, married for all of 7 days. This moment captures a grief so raw, it pierces the heart of anyone who sees it. Viewers, terror attacks like the one in Pahalgam don't just claim lives, they shatter worlds. Families are left frozen in time, grappling with a loss that feels senseless, unjust, and unending. While the world moves forward, those left behind carry an unbearable weight. The trauma of absence, the torment of why, and the ache for closure that never comes. Each tear tells a story of love torn apart, of future stolen, and of a pain that no headline, no show, no anchor can fully convey. Viewers, these are not just casualties, they are human lives forever marked and scarred by the cruelty of terror. Which is why, viewers, I don't want to do just another debate tonight. 28 innocent souls were slaughtered in cold blood. Their crime, their faith, their identity. Pakistan's Lashkar-e-Taiba has claimed this massacre, boasting of their bigotry, their bullets tearing through the heart of our nation. Viewers, the nation is mourning, but the mourning is not enough. Tonight, we demand justice, viewers, we demand retribution, we demand that the enemies of India tremble at the mere thought of our resolve. Viewers, this is not just an attack on Pahalgam, this is an attack on India's soul, on our unity, on our very existence. And let me be clear, this is Pakistan's proxy war, waged by cowards hiding across the border, nurtured by the ISI, armed with hatred and unleashed on our people time and again. From the Amarnath Yatra in 2017 to Pulwama in 2019, the bloodstains are the same. The masterminds are the same. The intent is the same. And yet, we are told to be patient, to be restrained. No more. Viewers, let me take you across the world for a moment. When 3,000 lives were lost on September 11, 2001, did America sit back and offer condolences? No. They hunted Osama bin Laden to the ends of the earth, storming Pakistan a decade later to deliver justice. In 2022, they tracked down Al-Qaeda's Ayman al-Zawahiri to a Kabul balcony and ended him with a drone strike. No sanctuary, no mercy. When Palestinian terrorists murdered 11 Israeli athletes in Munich in 1972, did Israel issue statements? No. They unleashed Operation Wrath of God, tracking down every perpetrator across continents, ensuring no one who spills Israeli blood sleeps in peace. Last year, when Hezbollah dared to fire rockets, Israel did not just respond. They obliterated its leadership from Hassan Nasrallah to his aides. Over. Viewers, these nations don't show resolve. They act, they strike, they make their enemies pay. And this is the reason their enemies think 1,000 times before even planning an attack. Viewers, we've had our moments too. The surgical strikes in 2016, the Balakot airstrike of 2019. But moments are not enough, viewers. The architects of Pahalgam, General Munir and Saeed and company, still walk free in Pakistan. Their training camps still churns out Islamist fidains. Their handlers in the ISI still plot. Why? Because they think we are soft. Because they think we will mourn, we will protest, and then we will forget and move on. They think India's patience is infinite. We must prove them wrong. Viewers, this Pahalgam massacre is a wake-up call. We cannot afford to be the nation that buries its dead and hopes for peace. We must be that nation that hunts its enemies wherever they hide. We must strike their camps, whether in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir or beyond. We must choke their funding, expose their sponsors, and drag Pakistan to the world stage. If that helps, as the terror factory it is. Our soldiers, our spies, our drones, they're ready. Our intelligence agencies from RAW to NIA must be unleashed to make the likes of Lashkar and Jaish regret the day they dared to harm us. And to those who say this risks escalation, I ask, what is the cost of inaction? Another Pahalgam, another Pulwama, how many more must die before we say enough? Viewers, we are a nation of 1.4 billion, a rising global power, a land of ancient wisdom, but modern might. We have the strength to make our enemies shiver. Let us use it. Let us send a message so loud, so undeniable that it echoes from the valleys of Kashmir to the streets of Karachi. If you spill Indian blood, there will be no corner of this earth where you can hide. No border will shield you. No time will save you. The 28 lives lost in Pahalgam demands a response so loud, a strike so hard, that its thunder reaches every corner of this planet.
यहाँ पे
मेरे बच्चे को
अरे हम लोग फौजी हैं आपकी सेफ्टी के लिए आए हो
तर त्यांच्यावर दहशतवादी हल्ला झाला. त्यांना विचारण्यात आले तुम्ही हिंदू आहे का, तर त्याही त्यांना अजाम बोलायला लावले. त्यांना ते आले नाही आणि ते मग त्याही धडधड चालू केले. अतिरेकाही गोळ्या झाडल्या निघून गेले.
उन्होंने हिंदू कौन है सामने से और संजय लेले जी को सर पे गोली मार दी और बाद मेरे जीजा जी को भी उन्होंने पेट पे गोली मार दी.
इसको लॉस फील नहीं करेगा. मेरा भाई एक देश के लिए एक सेक्रीफाइस किए. बदला तो श्योर लेना है अभी.
अपने आप बोले ना मुझे.
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाई थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान आया उसने उसको गोली मार दी.
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी.
Let's open this up. Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, RSN Singh, Tushar Gupta, Advocate Ahra Saeed, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Syed Asad Abbas, and Dr. Anand Ranganathan completes this panel. Tuhin Sinha, the nation is angry. The sorrow must turn into a sword. What will you do to wipe out the tears?
Pranesh, I come on your show today with a very heavy heart. First, let me begin by paying my condolences to the family members of the 28 brave sons of Bharat Mata whose lives have been abruptly and, very barbarically cut short by Islamist terrorists. I am emphasizing on the word Islamist terrorists because many have conveniently, ignored that. And, with the monstrosity that was unleashed yesterday, the wails and the cries of which are still echoing in my mind, I can tell you that these terrorists, these pests have crossed a dangerous red line. At this point of time, like you rightly mentioned, it seems like a war against the nation because, there are families in Karnataka, there are families in Arunachal, there are families in Orissa which are mourning. And all I can tell you at this point of time that the response, India's response will be greater, the magnitude of India's response will be greater than the enormity of the crime which has been enacted by the Islamist terrorists yesterday. We cannot diverge it right now, but it will be unprecedented in nature, it will be unthinkable, and it will break the bone of Pakistan. Let me for a moment dwell upon, how we have handled Pakistan in the last 10, 11 years. We gave them a long rope in the first 1.5 years, but after that, when we realized that Pakistan is incorrigible, we made sure that Pakistan is diplomatically ostracized. We made sure that they were brought under the sanctions of FATF in 2018, which they managed to get out of in the next 3 years, 4 years. But today, sadly, we have once again realized after yesterday's attack that till the time Pakistan exists, it will continue to foment terror in some form or the other, and therefore, my sense is we will hit at the existence of Pakistan this point of time. Now, when I make a reference to what happens yesterday, I will, it will be being a political representative. It saddens me to see the response of one very important person from the opposition fraternity, which is Robert Vadra. At a time when we are very clear that an attack of this nature, when LET for that matter has owned up to the attack, when we know that this kind of an attack cannot happen without the masterminds of Pakistan perpetrating it, and with some amount of support from locals, here is Robert Vadra, who is out to give Pakistan a clean sheet, and he pins the blame of Hindutva. I think this kind of dirty politics by the usual suspects, which are the Gandhi family, needs to be avoided for the sake of the nation at this point of time.
We'll deal with the likes of Vadra. The courts are equipped to deal with the likes of Vadra, but the government should really walk the talk. I mean, as the representative of the Bharatiya Janata Party, people will judge you for what you've said. Colonel RSN, as the security analyst, I want you to lay down what can India do? Because, every time a terror attack happens, people say we will hit them hard, we will do this, we will do that. What can we do so that there is permanent damage? That Pakistan learns a lesson it will never forget. Because FATF and UN and other, such bodies will not fight India's fight.
Pranesh, at the outset, you mentioned, that you use the word retribution. Well, I think that's not the correct terminology. Now we should go in for a solution. How long this retribution business? And well, you say that what are the options? There are any number of options, sir. You want a worse place than Israel as far as, enemies around is concerned. What did they do? Over a period of time, they made the Egyptians sue for peace. The Arabs followed. And then the Palestinians persisted. And Gaza has been obliterated. Actually, if you ask me, there is no territory called Gaza. When you compare with, 9/11, it was not a case of, fight for territory. It was an ideological war. So here, the territorial angle is also there, and the ideological war is also there in our case. Now you will ask me, that what is to be done? Very interesting, and please, this is something. Do you think that Pakistan was made as homeland for Muslims? Absolutely bunkum. Absolutely bunkum. You know that 1946 elections, which was fought on the basis of Pakistan, 86% Muslims in India voted for Muslim League, and most of them stayed here. So what was Pakistan? Pakistan was created by the British to serve their strategic interests. The great game against Russians had translated into, threat against the Soviet Union. So you had the CENTO. And after World War II, they wanted to retain their maritime interests. So they created Pakistan to have their presence in Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal.
This history lesson on origin of Pak is all right. People are aware. What should we do so that Pakistan ends? So that we wipe out Pakistan or, punish it so hard that it does not do this again?
Sir, सर प्लीज इतना रिस्पेक्ट मेरे को दे दीजिए. इतना भी बेवकूफ नहीं हूं मैं कि बिल्कुल हेवायर चला जाऊंगा. आई एम अ वेरी एक्सपीरियंस्ड मैन बाय द वे.
Which is why you're here, sir.
अब आप कह रहे हैं पूछ रहे हैं कि हम क्या कर. नहीं मैं आप पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या हम कर सकते हैं. सर बलूचिस्तान इट्स अ राइप फ्रूट. खत्म कीजिए. मैं स्ट्रेटेजिक लेवल पे बात कर रहा हूं. इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी को खत्म कीजिए. आज अनाउंस कीजिए. खत्म. आप मैरीटाइम ब्लॉकेड कीजिए. चाइना पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर को खत्म कीजिए. गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान में जहां से ये द मेन ट्रंक विच पासेस थ्रू गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान उसको खत्म कीजिए. नो डोंट गिव मी नोबडी शुड गिव मी द बुलशिट अबाउट टू फ्रंट सिचुएशन एंड नॉनसेंस. मैं बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के साथ कह रहा हूं. एंड एट ऑपरेशनल लेवल सर आप ये सारा कब्जा कर लीजिए ना. ये लोग तो वेट कर रहे हैं. ये मीरपुर कोटली बिम्बर गली ये सारा ये इलाका आप कैप्चर कीजिए. और टैक्टिकल तो आप कर ही रहे. टैक्टिकल आप ढूंढ के मारेंगे. कोई नहीं बचेगा. कोई ये नहीं जाएगा. द 4 people have been identified. They will get a cordon and search operation is there and the drones are moving. All that is happening. That is at the tactical level. And diplomatic level, isolate Pakistan. And it is very easy, sir, at the moment. Remember, one of the reasons for this attack is India, Middle East, Europe corridor versus China, Pakistan economic corridor.
All right.
And that they cannot exist.
Let's see
So,
what the government
diplomatically,
decides
the
to
world will
do.
help
I
you
want to
with
bring in Advocate Ara Saeed. Ara Saeed, what should India do to Pakistan?
I would, as a Kashmiri, as a Muslim, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. As a Kashmiri, as a Muslim, and someone as not an advocate, I would talk here. Deeply, firstly, we as Kashmiris are deeply shocked with what has happened today. Because we cherish peace, we cherish humanity. I unequivocally condemn the killings. There is no justification for such barbarity. And let it be very clear, terrorism has no religion, no region, and no community. It is an assault against all the values. We are here again talking about either we are going into religion. Kashmiris have themselves suffered for decades at the hands of violence. And we refuse to be silent. When
Ms.
there
Said,
are
I asked you a question. Look, I don't have, all evening, ma'am, to allow you to make your point. Just answer a simple question. What should India do to Pakistan? Why is that so difficult?
It is. I'm making a point that you are going off the track.
Oh.
What is the issue is the killing that has happened. We have to focus on that. Why is there...
How did this happen? Who are these people? Where did they come from? Miss Saeed, you can't even utter the word Pakistan. Why?
What do I have
Why
to
are
do
you
with-
protecting Pakistan? Why? Dr. Ranganathan, you see, she begins by saying terror has no religion and till now hasn't uttered the word Pakistan and tells me that I am going off track.
Good evening, Pranesh. Look, if development and prosperity brought peace, Middle East would be like what it appears in that Trump video. On the one side, 9 medical colleges, 1.5 million tap connections, 8 million Ayushman cards, 0.2 million homes, 0.8 million toilets, 65 million tourist footfall, 30% increase in school days, 9,000 kilometers roads, 87% decline in stone pelting incidents, 80% decline in terror incidents, 40% decline in youths joining terror organizations, peace, tranquility, and all in the last 5 years. And on the other side, the lifeless body of a husband, eyes still staring at his shocked wife, killed because he was identified as a Hindu. But it will not shake the world's conscience because terrorism has no religion. And that's why terrorists check the ID cards of tourists, pull their pants down to confirm, ask them to recite the kalma and kill those who are not Muslims. How did we reach a point where kalma and not karma will save us? Because we refuse to accept that there is a parallel world that is inhabited by millions who are not bound by rules, morality, ethics, propriety, by which they want the rest of us to be bound by. Because their morality, ethics, conduct is not dictated by man but by God. Be under no illusion. The situation is intractable. It hasn't changed for 1,000 years. Why would it change now? And for those who still ponder, where does all this hate come from? Well, it can't come from across the border. It comes from an ideology that transcends borders. Plans hatched by Pakistan are aided and abetted by their cohorts in India. It's a snakes and ladders game where snakes are provided by Pakistan and the ladders by India. Otherwise, Pranesh, tell me, 4 states share borders with Pakistan. But does such a massacre ever happen in Gujarat, Rajasthan or Punjab? It happens because we Indians in India allow it to happen, facilitate it and then felicitate it. Unless we change Kashmir, we can hit Pakistan as many times as we want. It won't change anything. Didn't we carry out Balakot? Then why did Pahalgam happen? World's worst terror attack was not carried out with the help of an army, Pranesh, but by 11 men with box cutters. The real problem is internal, not external. Only cultural and demographic restoration of Kashmir can help. Perhaps even think of restructuring population composition of Kashmir along the lines of Singapore's ethnic integration policy. Because right now, a Kashmir brutalized by Islamists and not by the fascist Hindutva state doesn't fit their narrative. And so they are erasing truth right before our eyes. And so that heartbreaking image of the 2-year-old boy T2 wrapped in a body bag in rice seed is a lie. As was that heartbreaking image of a 3-year-old Sopore boy squatting on his dead grandfather. The atrocities against 500,000 Kashmiri Pandits didn't happen. Of how Ayub Pandit wasn't lynched by a mob. Of how thousands never attended funerals of terrorists. Of how ISIS flags were never unfurled in Jamia Masjid. Of how sons of headmasters are mistaken for terrorists. Of how a sitting PM never shook hands with the murderer of Yasin Malik. Pranesh, the Nadi Marg massacre where 23 unsuspecting Kashmiri Hindus were lined up and shot blank is a lie. Girija Tiku, who was raped and cleaved into 2 by a mechanical saw while she was still alive, is a lie. BK Ganju, who hid inside a rice barrel where jihadis came looking for him after his Muslim neighbor informed of him and was shot dead, and then rice laced with his blood was fed to his wife, is a lie.
Right.
The slogans raised from Moss, Ralif, Galif, Salif, they're all lies. Dead to Kafir, all lies. Do we want our survival to rest on kalma and not karma? You need to decide.
Mr. Talashi, there's a member of parliament from the National Conference. I don't remember his name, not that the name is important. But he said that this tourist influx is actually cultural invasion.
Look, Pranesh, whatever happened yesterday, I belong to the same constituency, right? Whatever happened yesterday is very unfortunate. And I was the one who I think broke the news because one of my known friend was there, who was brutally massacred. He had a bullet-ridden body, and his wife called me up in the middle of the day that we are being attacked. Whatever happened is unfortunate, and we condemn it. But at the same point of time, I think I've been attending a lot of debates. I've been attending a lot of interviews, but I don't find any anchor, any debate questioning the government. What is the blueprint? Why this security lapse in Kashmir? Why this security lapse in Pahalgam? We have Amarnath Yatra coming up, and I mean, this is strange. I mean, no security checks. How are they roaming around? How are these terrorists roaming around? How are they attacking the tourists? So I think rather than asking people, rather than asking the parties who are not involved, rather than asking even
You
the
a simple question. I am asking you about your own member of parliament. His name is Aga Saeed Ruhullah Mehdi. If tourists come to Kashmir, how is that cultural invasion? This is fear-mongering of the worst kind.
That doesn't make any sense for you to ask me that his statement and we ended up with this attack. his statement was, it was just 3 days ago. He made a statement that it's a cultural invasion. I heard the statement, but
do you
that doesn't
condemn
make
that?
sense.
No,
That
I'm
you,
asking you, Mr. Talashi,
look,
do you
look,
condemn
look,
that
look, look.
statement?
I'll tell you. It's not about condemning. It's a personal opinion. It's a personal
opinion?
that it could be,
Oh, really, Mr. Talashi?
it
How
could,
is this an opinion? So you will say, no,
it could
so
be a personal
somebody,
opinion.
now imagine, somebody, no, Mr. Talashi, calm down. This is not someone's opinion, sir. You are insulting the family members of the people who've lost their lives. They were massacred. This can't be an opinion. That Burhan Wani was a noble soul. This is not an opinion. And who said that? There are many. Mehbooba Mufti was shedding tears. I'm asking you again, Dr. Ranganathan, why is it so difficult for him to take a position?
Well, why is it so difficult for us to realize what he's saying and what his feelings are the truth? For how long will we keep on playing the victim? Let them think whatever they want. Let them not condemn absolute bigotry and barbarity. I don't care. We need to act. Stop playing victim. Let's restore demography and cultural restoration of Kashmir, like what it was. It didn't belong to Islamists, and it should never belong to Islamists.
Tushar,
who cares about what this guy thinks, whether he should condemn?
A comment like this is justified. Then you have the likes of Mr. Vadra, who said what he said. I'm actually quite shocked. I knew that, this kind of commentary would come a few days later. But for him to say this in, under 24 hours, I just tells you what they want.
Pranesh, look, few things we need to get cleared out. Terrorism has a religion. When people are singled out, marked, and shot at point blank range only for their religion, then yes, terrorism has a religion. When the terrorists are backed by organizations that come from a country that was founded on the basis of a religion, then yes, terrorism has religion. People today are out there on social media intellectually whitewashing the Pahalgam terror attack. Somehow there are people who are trying to convince the population of 140 crore Hindus, 140 crore Indians, pardon me, much of them ignorant Hindus, that the people who were massacred yesterday, they are not important. But the people who are left behind, who are being questioned on their stances, who are being questioned on the role of the overground workers, they are the bigger victims. The economy of Kashmir is the bigger victim. I'm sorry, that's not the case. The first victim of this terrorist attack is the Hindus who were marked for their religion. And I repeat myself, marked for their religion and massacred. The economy of Kashmir is a collateral damage, and it's time the wonderful people of Kashmir do not speak only through the protests that some of them are going on right now, but also through what they elect on the ballot day. What the Kashmiris are electing is very different from what they are saying. And that is where the gap needs to be bridged. And this is for the betterment of the Kashmiri community also. The Hindus need to realize that terrorism has a religion. Until we do not stop this Aman ka tamasha and secularism ka tamasha, this will go on and on. I remember there are many people who only weeks before were saying, why is India playing Pakistan in Dubai? Why can't India travel to Pakistan and play the match there? Why can't we reunite? Why can't our relationship have a new start? All this nonsense people peddle. People do not realize that Pakistan is the human, the ideological representation of terrorism in this world. That is what Pakistan is.
That's a great point. Let me put that to Miss Ara Saeed once again. Miss Saeed, should Pakistan be made to pay? Simple question.
To pay for what? There has to be investigation. There has to be inquiry. There is where our Indian security has made a lapse.
Oh.
Is there
so
there
this is homegrown terror, something that Mr. Surjewala had said after Pulwama. Okay, let me ask you again, ma'am, at the cost of offending others, why is it so difficult, Miss Saeed, for you to say that I condemn Pakistan for this? Why?
If they've done it, they should be shot. I am an Indian. I don't say I'm a Kashmiri. I say I'm an Indian.
Okay, so you want Pakistan?
you are here, we have been
So you
categorized
believe
in
Pakistan will, issue a press statement and say that yes, to convince Miss Saeed, here's our statement, we've done it. Only then will you condemn? Only then will Mehbooba Mufti condemn? What is going on? Kamru Zaman ji? So that's the PDP. It's a regional party. What is the Indian National Congress doing? Justifying terror? Should I read out what Robert Vadra said, or do you want to listen to what he said?
Pranesh, I am not a spokesperson of Robert Vadra. My party's president has already issued a statement condemning the attack. Our leaders have already stated on this. So I give a damn to what Mr. Robert Vadra. He may be a relative of one of our top leaders, but I do not subscribe to his views. At this time, when the nation is angry, anguished, and in mourning, I'm also emotional tonight. But being emotional, my democratic country gives me the liberty to ask some questions, as was asked of Shivraj Patil and Mr. M.K. Narayanan after the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. The Shivraj Patil resigned. He was the Home Minister. Now, if I ask the same question now to Mr. Amit Shah and Mr. Ajit Doval, I become an anti-national and I will be branded. That
No.
At this time,
Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, you have all the right to ask that question. I'll get Tuhin Sinha to respond to it, but you first answer this question. You said, who is Robert Vadra? We are not concerned about Robert Vadra. I know Tushar wants to, come in. But let me ask you this. Have you seen Mr. Khadge's statement, sir? The long post on X. Read point number 10. He says this is an attack on the Indian state and India must ensure that Pakistan pays. Indian state. Rings a bell. Rahul Gandhi had said that we are fighting the Indian state. What are you doing? Mr. Khadge is going after Rahul Gandhi. Robert Vadra is justifying terror, giving a clean sheet to Pakistan.
Pranesh, give me 2 more minutes, please. I'll just finish it off. Don't try to mix things out here. This, first and foremost, in your opening, you have said this is a proxy war. We believe that it's a direct war against the Indian state, against the Indian people and against the Indian Union by Pakistan and Pakistan-sponsored elements. So we need to give a very disproportionate response to Pakistan to stop such type of activities in the future. But after Pulwama, what happened, we don't know.
This is not some, 1 minute. This is not some college or school activity, sir. This is a dastardly attack. Innocents have been slaughtered. What activity are you talking about? Robert Vadra is up to some activity. His usual mischief of giving a clean sheet to Pakistan. He is going on the lines of Digvijay Singh, what he did after 26/11. RSS ki sajish. Have you forgotten that? Tuhin.
No, since he has spoken about, he has demanded the resignation of a home minister, let me just remind him that in 2015, there were 5,000 terrorists active in the Kashmir Valley. Today, there are less than 100. But these data don't matter today. Fact is that even one life, if even one life is lost, it points to a very serious situation which will be combated, which will be effectively dealt with. Please just understand at this point that, security agencies need to be successful 100 times. The terrorists just need to be successful once. But like I said, for Pakistan, this is a last, this is possibly after the elections in Kashmir 4 months ago. And after the massive historic turnout in the elections, Pakistan sees that its game has ended in Kashmir. And this seems to be a last-ditch attempt, a desperate attempt to revive its stake, which will, and again, Pakistan will not succeed over there because the answer which India gives, like I mentioned right at the very start, will be unprecedented, unthinkable, something you and I won't imagine right now.
Well, Tuhin Sinha, we're waiting for that action. Mr. Talashi has his hand up. Mr. Talashi, do you agree with this line of response by Miss Syed, who's saying that we don't know whether Pakistan is behind this or not?
I don't agree with it. Right. You know what? I'll be very clear. I've been deep distress and deep shock since yesterday after witnessing, because I know I've been the first one to hear the cries of a woman with 2 children who was roaming around in the forest. I took the matter up with the Honorable Chief Minister at that point of time, and we tried to rescue as many people as we could. But at the same point of time, I think, Pranesh, rather than having this, debates and discussion, it's time that we should go ahead and act against this rather than, condemning and putting out the tweets, Kadi Ninda. I think it's high time that whosoever is involved, Pakistan is involved, I think government of the day at the center should go ahead and put these people, bring these people to task. We cannot take it. We cannot have civilians die. We cannot afford the death of unarmed people.
Dr. Ranganathan said that, we must attack the head of the snake. No one is even looking at the snake. Dr. Ranganathan.
Pranesh, as I said, we are looking at the hyena that is outside our home and not the elephant in the room. Yes, Pakistan is a problem, but the graver problem is us, internal. You take an acid test, all those people who are saying on your panel, terrorism has no religion, 2 of them are from Kashmir, ask them, do they believe that Kashmiri Hindu genocide happened in 1990 or not? I can bet my bottom dollar they will say no, there was no Kashmiri Hindu genocide. The problem is ours. For how long will we play victim and blame Pakistan?
For how long, MC Abbas?
Pranesh, I'd like to make a very personal articulation here. 2 days back, my respective mother told me that it's been a lifelong wish of hers to take her to Kashmir. When I heard this news yesterday, I took it very personal, Pranesh. I'm a father of 2 daughters. I'm a man of the age who passed away from Rani Bennur, Shivamogga, and Bengaluru. I was right in front of the Vidhan Sauda today, and I was speaking on the same front. Imagine what this happened to my family. I am grieved, I am broken, I am hurt, I am shocked. Let me make a very important stand here and tell you, Pranesh, that undoubtedly, many a times I've disagreed with Anand, Tushar, Tuhin, but this time, and I'll tell you the sinister plan of Pakistan here. Yes, they were killed because they were Hindu. Yes, they were killed because they were Hindu. And precisely the plan of Pakistan to divide us Indians today. I believe that every Indian Muslim today must and should take a stand. This is heartbreaking. Pranesh, the fact of the matter, coming out and spilling venom, coming out on national TV and saying that terror has a religion, I'd like to call out those people and shame them and name them. The fact that I'm an Indian Muslim, would I want that to happen to them? Kannadigas have died there. Indians have died there. Will I be able to answer them? The fact of the matter, this is the plan of Pakistan and nothing
all
but
this
Pakistan.
Is platitudes.
Pakistan
no, 1 minute,
is
one
a
minute,
terror.
1 minute. MC Abbas, Mr. Abbas, just 1 minute. Shagun Parihar joins us. Dr. Ranganathan, Shagun is MLA, Jammu and Kashmir, and she lost her father and brother to terror. Shagun ji, Times Now.
My father and my uncle.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for speaking to Times Now. मैं सबसे पहले शगुन जी मैं आपके ट्विटर फीड में भी देख रहा था आज आपने काफी प्रोटेस्ट रैलीज भी अटेंड किए हैं when people like Mehbooba Mufti come to protest with a placard in their hand and say that this is an attack on all of us and yet not name Pakistan, how do you feel?
This is the change after Article 370. Before this, always they try to condemn. इससे पहले कभी उन्होंने condemn नहीं किया इन attacks को. This is first time in the history of Jammu Kashmir that they are condemning and they are saying this is a covert attack. इससे पहले हमेशा वो आतंकवादियों के जुलूसों में शामिल होते थे. ये 370 की एब्रोगेशन है. ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी की गवर्नमेंट है जिसके बाद उन्होंने ये condemn करना शुरू किया है. Otherwise, they always remain the mute spectators at this time. This is first time.
But why are you doing this? What is behind silence, Shagun? Why are people not calling out what this is?
I think इससे पहले इन्होंने क्या किया था जो आइडियोलॉजी ये स्प्रेड कर रहे थे they breathed in the minds of people, in the minds of common Kashmiri and the roots of that are floating there too. इससे पहले उन्होंने हमेशा अलगावादी एजेंडे को फैलाया. इससे पहले उन्होंने हमेशा इस तरह की बातें की. ये मोदी गवर्नमेंट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का डर है कि आज ये लोग इस तरह की चीजों को कंडम कर रहे हैं.
शगुन जी, कुछ ऐसे भी लोग हैं पैनल पे भी हैं और बाहर भी हैं जो कह रहे हैं कि देखिए टेरर हैज नो रिलीजन. दिस इज डिस्पाइट द फैक्ट that we have testimonies of survivors who said they checked our identity and then they killed our loved ones.
उन्होंने उनका नाम पूछा, पर्टिकुलर रिलीजन पूछा, और किस किस तरह का व्यवहार किया है वो मैं यहाँ पे चैनल पे बता भी नहीं सकती चेक करने के लिए कि ये हिंदू है या नहीं है। तो फिर कैसे कह सकते हैं हम कि आतंकवाद का कोई धर्म नहीं है?
तो जो लोग ऐसा कहते हैं, जैसे देखिए रॉबर्ट वाड्रा, उन्होंने कहा है इन आवर कंट्री वी सी दैट दिस गवर्नमेंट विल टॉक अबाउट हिंदुत्व एंड माइनॉरिटीज फील अनकंफर्टेबल एंड ट्रबल्ड, सो ही इज इन अ वे जस्टिफाइंग द टेरर अटैक। इन लोगों को आप क्या कहना चाहेंगी, क्योंकि आपने ये फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस किया है, सफर किया है आपने।
आप मुझे बताइए कि सफर कहां पे लोग कर रहे हैं? जम्मू कश्मीर में। और सफर कौन कर रहा है? हिंदू। सिर्फ हिंदू ही सफर कर रहे हैं ना? पूरे भारत में देख लो तो और कोई कम्युनिटी क्यों नहीं सफर कर रही? क्योंकि हिंदू, जहां पे हिंदुओं की प्रेजेंस ज्यादा है वहां पे हम अपनी प्रेजेंस में सबको सेफ फील करवाते हैं। लेकिन जहां पे भी कुछ लोगों ने हमेशा जिहाद फैलाया, वो कहां पे फैलाया? कश्मीर में फैलाया। क्यों फैलाया? क्योंकि पाकिस्तान की नजर हमेशा से कश्मीर पे थी, जबकि वो जानता है कि पाकिस्तान कश्मीर को कभी हासिल नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन फिर भी पाकिस्तान की नजर कश्मीर पे है। पाकिस्तान के अपने बहुत सारे इश्यूज हैं। आपने देखा होगा बलोचिस्तान में कितने इश्यूज चल रहे हैं। अगर हम पाकिस्तान के न्यूज चैनल्स को देखें, उनको खंगालें, तो पाकिस्तान 3 हिस्सों में अभी बंट जाएगा। लेकिन वो इन सब अटेंशन को डाइवर्ट करने के लिए उन्होंने टेलर किया इस इंसिडेंट को। कश्मीर में ये सारी चीजें प्री प्लान की। ये लश्कर ए तैयबा का, मुझे लगता है ये कह रहे हैं कि और बाकी सारी एजेंसीज का, लेकिन मुझे पूरा विश्वास है ये लश्कर ए तैयबा की प्लानिंग है जम्मू कश्मीर को डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए। क्योंकि इस टाइम पे जम्मू कश्मीर में शांति थी, अमन था, डेवलपमेंट की बात हो रही थी, यहां की प्रोग्रेस की बात हो रही थी। मैं खुद यहां किश्तवाड़, जो मतलब यहां से फिर कश्मीर स्टार्ट हो जाता है, यहां पे रहती हूं और मैं खुद डेवलपमेंट यहां पे देख रही हूं मोदी गवर्नमेंट की वजह से। लेकिन ये हमेशा चाहते हैं कश्मीर डिस्टर्ब रहे, कश्मीर की डिस्टर्बेंस के लिए। आप मुझे बताइए टेररिस्ट तक वो इंफॉर्मेशन कहां से पहुंची कि वहां पहलगाम में इतने लोग हैं? टूरिज्म पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से पहलगाम इंपॉर्टेंस रखता है।
शगुन जी, देखिए आप कह रही हैं कि ये ओवरग्राउंड वर्कर्स का जो एक नेटवर्क है, एक इकोसिस्टम है, स्लीपर सेल है, उसने ये किया है। लेकिन पैनल पे हमारे साथ हैं आहरा सईद, वो भी बोल रही हैं आई एम अ प्राउड कश्मीरी। वो कहेंगी ये इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर है।
आप मुझे बताइए, गोरिल्ला वार और इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर, पाकिस्तान हमेशा से गोरिल्ला वार करता आया है। इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर आप कैसे कह देंगे? पाकिस्तान की फोर्सेस को एक बिफिटिंग रिप्लाई दिया जाएगा हमारी गवर्नमेंट द्वारा। और इसका सबसे बड़ा सबूत ये है कि आज कश्मीर में ये नारा लग रहा है सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा। आज कश्मीर का आम मुसलमान फिर भी इस चीज को कंडम करता है, लेकिन इससे पहले ये सब कभी नहीं हुआ था।
मैं जाते जाते आपसे ये लास्ट में ये सवाल पूछता हूं शगुन जी, कि जम्मू एंड कश्मीर असेंबली में भी कुछ ऐसे एलिमेंट्स हैं हु आर ओपनली अगेंस्ट द आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया। तो जब आप असेंबली उनके साथ शेयर करती हैं, एक ही फ्लोर पे होती हैं, तो डू यू नो फील दैट सेंस ऑफ बिट्रेयल?
हम फील करते हैं। कई बार वहां जिहादी नारे लगाए जाते हैं। एक बार तो जब वो जिहादी नारे वहां पे उन्होंने शुरू किए, उस टाइम पे मैंने जय श्री राम का स्लोगन रेज किया था। ये ऐसा बहुत बार होता है। कई बार वो कहते हैं पाकिस्तान से बातचीत होनी चाहिए। आप मुझे बताइए, वो भूखा नंगा मुल्क जिसके पास खुद के खाने के लिए कुछ नहीं, जिसको तरपाल तक भारत ने दी, वो भूखा नंगा मुल्क हमेशा से भारत में आतंकवाद को बढ़ा रहा है, अलगाववाद को बढ़ा रहा है, एक गोरिल्ला वार यहाँ पे बढ़ा रहा है। मुझे लगता है अगर भारतीय गवर्नमेंट हमारी सरकार से यही मांगे, चाहे वो इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी हो, चाहे वो एलओसी हो, हमें इन सब चीजों पे नजर रखनी चाहिए। और एलओसी इज नॉट ए एक्चुअल बॉर्डर। हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि जल्द से जल्द हमें अगर हमें दुख हो रहा है, हमें दर्द हो रहा है हमारे लोगों का, तो हम क्यों उनको इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी के तहत पानी दे रहे हैं? हम क्यों इनको लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल जो है दैट इज नॉट एक्चुअल बॉर्डर ना, तो हम क्यों नहीं
अगर आप ये असेंबली में कह देंगी तो इसी पे प्रोटेस्ट हो जाएगा। वो बोलेंगे कि आप पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ इतना कड़ा रुख क्यों अपना रही है? यही दिस इज द रियलिटी ऑफ द पॉलिटी देयर।
पूरे भारत से जो लोग मारे गए, क्या वो भारतवासी हमारे अपने नहीं है? पाकिस्तान की बोली क्यों जम्मू कश्मीर की असेंबली हमेशा बोलती है?
देखते हैं आगे क्या होता है। शगुन परिहार, थैंक यू फॉर योर टाइम, थैंक यू फॉर स्पीकिंग टू टाइम्स नाउ। बट यू नो डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, लेट्स एड्रेस the main issue, the head of the snake as you call it. We have individuals like Robert Vadra. Now it is so easy for Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary to say, look, we have got nothing to do with Robert Vadra. Does that defense hold?
Well, I don't know when it holds and when it doesn't. It depends on odd or even days or policies that Congress has. But the fact of the matter is that it is, I'm afraid there is no other phrase for it. Mr. Vadra's rant was a psychopathic rant. For him to be acting like on the almost orders of what Goebbels would have thought, accuse the other person of what you are guilty of. I mean, here we have terrorists who are murdering, going on a rampage based exclusively on religion. They are murdering people who cannot recite the kalma, who are not able to have a Muslim surname. This is the problem out here, and he's blaming Hindutva. He's blaming the policies of the government as having, as a justification for what the Muslims have done. Then let me ask him, why did 26/11 happen? That was during the UPA. Do you think the UPA government was also antagonizing Muslims like the NDA government is? कौन सा logic लाते हैं ये?
Kamruzaman ji, answer
you
that
can't
question.
even say, learn from your brother-in-law.
So, Pranesh, tonight speaking on unverified statements yet to be verified by the government.
Sir,
I think
let me play out the statement, sir. It is not doctored, it is not AI. It is RV, Robert Vadra. Let's play it out. Okay, we'll play out Robert Vadra. Sir, I just read out what he said. उसके बाद भी आप disbelief में हैं, and then to turn around and say that, look, unverified statements are really. अब आप सुनिए. Robert Vadra has said what I read out. He says, in our country, we see that this government will talk about Hindutva and the minorities feel uncomfortable and troubled. If you dissect this terrorist act that took place, if they are looking at people's identity, why are they doing this? Why? Why did Kasab come? He wanted to see Mumbai. Listen to Robert Vadra.
Looking at identities and then killing somebody, that's a message. Also sending a message to the Prime Minister of our country. Why? Because Muslims are feeling weakened.
Suna sir, unverified statement.
Pranesh, I don't know आज आपको हुआ क्या है. What I meant by unverified statements was Mr. Ranganathan's statement linking the terrorist attack to an ideology. But he forgets that the NSCN of Nagaland is not a terror organization belonging to the same ideology, nor was Alpha, nor was LTT, nor were the Maowadis.
No,
so
they don't kill in the name of religion. That's the difference. Kamruzaman ji, they don't kill in the name of religion. उनके गोल्स अलग हैं. कमरुज़मान जी, ये ऐसे मत कीजिए सर. You know, you are तुषार.
Pranesh, अब 24 घंटे से थोड़ा ज्यादा हुआ है अटैक को. Intellectual whitewashing शुरू हो गई है. You realize how the marked Hindus have already been forgotten. This is not about the 28 innocent Hindus who lost their lives. This is about, oh, there is an attempt to divide India on communal lines. Oh, there is an attempt to trivialize religion in the name of terrorism. Oh, this is an attempt to attack the Congress and its relatives. Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, even though you're a foot soldier, a forgotten foot soldier of the Congress, you're not that innocent to claim that Robert Vadra is a distant relative of some Congress member. He's the husband of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra fights from where? From Wayanad, which is that one ally of the Congress in Wayanad, IUML. Now you tell me, was Vadra playing to the gallery or was Vadra speaking as a responsible Indian? What nonsense are you uttering? You're giving it
answer that question. Then I
cover.
bring in Tuin Sinha because you see the BJP is linking this to the Congress. You are saying that Congress has nothing to do with it. In fact, let's get the comments of Tuin Sinha. Then you answer all of this at once. Tuin.
Pranesh, if Robert Vadra had not made this absurd statement today, Digvijay Singh would have done it. If Digvijay Singh would not have made it, Sam Pitroda would have done it. Fact is, this Congress party has a Pakistan obsession. I am telling you a fact which a lot of people seem to have forgotten. On 5th August 2019, the Article 370 was abrogated. Exactly about 19 days later, on 24th August, Rahul Gandhi comes out and tells the press that, there is bloodshed from many different parts of Kashmir. And this one statement, this lie, this falsehood was used by Pakistan for the next 1 week, for the next 1 month to browbeat India internationally. And those were the days, those were the weeks when, our diplomatic forays were on in full swing. It was a very crucial time for India. So this Gandhi family specifically and this Congress party somehow does not know how to act in national interest in critical situations.
Answer that. It's a serious charge, Kamru Zamanji. Answer that question.
No, basically you are trying to divert the fundamental issue on how the terrorist attack happened in Kashmir. Repeatedly over the last few years, we were told a lie by Home Minister Amit Shah that everything is well in Kashmir, but this was not the fact. 28 lives were lost yesterday in a terrorist attack sponsored by Pakistan. During the same incident in 26/11 Mumbai, the Home Minister Shivraj Patil and Mr. M.K. Narayan resigned. Why are we not able to pinpoint the responsibility?
By resigning, did they do favor to the country? He was changing clothes, sir. One every 2 hours. It's all documented. What are you saying he resigned? As if he's some, great son of the soil. It was a disservice. What he was doing was a disservice to the people, to the victims of the attack. And Dr. Ranganathan is asking a simple question. If by Vadra's logic, if you apply that to 26/11, uska jawab nahi hai aapke paas. What did you do about Digvijay Singh? Nothing. He continues to be a veteran.
Pranesh, you are acting along with the BJP like a chameleon. 26/11, you have asked question over question about the incompetence of the Congress Home Minister that time. Why are you afraid to ask the same question? How many lives are you asking for from Hindus of this country after Kashmir? Kashmiri militants sponsored by Pakistan. Why are you afraid to ask this question?
Dr. Ranganathan is showing something. What is it, Doctor?
Or some other story.
I'm trying to explain the mindset of these people. This is Miss Supriya Sule, who is part of the India Alliance. And her first tweet condemning this attack was, and I read it, requesting Omar Abdullah for providing immediate medical aid and support to the following people hailing from Pune who have suffered injuries in the Pahalgam firing incident. This, according to them, is a firing incident.
There are others like Mamta Banerjee who refused to, categorize this as a terror attack. So you are firing and then misfiring by Robert Vadra. This is insulting the victims of a terror attack, Kamru Zaman Chaudhary ji. And I am not a chameleon, sir. I am asking you direct questions. You don't have answers for the question. He is blaming Hindutva. When the terrorists were checking identities and then shooting people, you have the gall here to say, look, we have got nothing to do with Robert Vadra. Why is he seen in Congress campaigns then? Why is he always accompanying the Gandhis? Tushar.
More important than Kamru Zaman Chaudhary's lies, where he doesn't mention that Shivraj Patel was also an accomplice in delaying the NSG to Mumbai on the 26/11 attacks. Let us also focus on the whitewashing that is going on. You open the social media right now, you look at your own panel, Pranesh. There are people literally trying to tell you that this is more about India's communal fault lines and not Pakistan's long-term role. They are already trying to tell you this is more about Kashmir and not about the Hindus who got killed. Do you see where this pattern is going?
And Tushar, I'll tell you, I haven't forgotten what Randeep Surjewala said about after Pulwama. He said this is homegrown terror in as many words. That was, and who was he then when he made those comments? He was the chief advisor or what have you to Rahul Gandhi. Now Rahul Gandhi is also not from the Congress, Mr. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary. Answer that question on the next show. We've run out of time. I thank all of you. Shagun Parihar, I thank you once again for taking out time and speaking to us on Times Now. The news are with Navita Kumar on the other side.